Hello brothers, and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The easiest way to fool a Sigma male is to first find a Sigma male who isn't already 3 steps ahead of you. Sounds impossible? Exactly. Because here's the honest truth. Psychologists have found that the human brain can pick up micro-expressions in under 1/25th of a second, but Sigma males somehow operate like they're running the premium version of that ability, the one with extra detection features nobody else ordered. People think they can trick a Sigma because he's quiet, calm, and minding his business. But what they don't realize is that he's quiet the same way a security camera is quiet, steady, unblinking, and recording everything. Sigma males don't need to interrogate anyone, read 1,000 books on manipulation, or pretend they're undercover detectives. They simply observe, and the truth exposes itself like a bad actor forgetting his line. And the funniest part? You'll see people confidently trying to deceive them, not knowing they're basically bringing a plastic knife to a sniper fight. So today, we're diving into why no one, absolutely no one, can fool a Sigma male, and the unnerving signs that prove he knows far more than he ever says. Get ready, because this won't be cliché, predictable, or gentle. This is the truth, unfiltered. Number 1, they break down people's intentions before they even speak. Sigma males have a rare talent that seems almost unfair. They can understand what someone intends to do before that person even realizes it themselves. It's not magic or some kind of sixth sense. It's a combination of observation, logic, and an uncanny ability to read energy. They watch how people move, how they react to small things, and how their expressions shift ever so slightly. These tiny, often overlooked details tell a story most people don't even know they're writing. A Sigma male sees the story as it is, not as it's being presented. Every conversation becomes a live map for them. The angle of a head, the hesitation before answering, the way a hand twitches or a voice cracks, these are not random quirks. To a Sigma, they're clues. They break down these details instantly, like a complex puzzle that needs no instruction manual. He understands the hidden motive behind your words before you even finish them, which is why lies, manipulation, or pretension rarely succeed. It's like he's reading a version of reality that exists just below the surface of your actions. It goes deeper than observation, though. Sigma males also analyze patterns. They notice how someone reacts in repeated situations, how they treat people they don't need to impress, and how they maneuver in social dynamics. All of this combines to form a predictive model of behavior. When you speak or act, he doesn't just react. He's already 3 steps ahead, anticipating what you want, what you fear, and what you might do next. This gives him a near superhuman edge in understanding people, and it makes attempts to deceive him almost laughably obvious. At its core, this ability is about patience and mental discipline. Sigma males don't rush to judge or confront. They quietly gather information, observe patterns, and let the truth unfold on its own. By the time the average person has spoken a lie, a Sigma has already mentally deconstructed the lie, traced its origin, and predicted the next move. He doesn't just see actions, he sees intentions, and that is why no one can easily fool him. People underestimate this skill at their own peril, because the Sigma male's perception isn't just accurate, it's surgical, and it rarely misses. Number 2, their memory is not photographic. It's behavioral Sigma. Males don't rely on a traditional memory the way most people think. They aren't storing random facts, dates, or trivial details just to recall them later. Instead, their memory works in a completely different dimension. It's behavioral. Every action, every subtle inconsistency, every fleeting expression someone shows becomes a stored data point. They remember how people behave, not just what they say or do on the surface. This means that even small discrepancies, the things others forget or dismiss as insignificant, stick in a Sigma's mind for months, sometimes years. When someone crosses a line, tells a half-truth, or acts in a way that contradicts their usual behavior, the Sigma male records it. Not like a notebook, but like a mental blueprint of human behavior. He can later recall these inconsistencies with astonishing clarity, piecing together patterns that the person themselves may have completely forgotten. Over time, this behavioral memory creates a deep, almost predictive understanding of the people around him. He doesn't need to keep track of every word. They're just context. What matters are the patterns, the reactions, and the choices. What makes this extraordinary is how he uses it. Sigma males can confront lies or manipulation subtly, without appearing accusatory, because they already know the history of a person's behavior. They can anticipate actions, detect dishonesty, or spot weaknesses without ever being told anything directly. People often assume memory is about recalling facts, but Sigma males prove that real understanding comes from remembering behavior, not trivia. This type of memory creates a quiet, invisible authority that intimidates without showing its power. It also explains why they are nearly impossible to fool. You can try to lie, manipulate, or hide your true self, but the Sigma has already stored the echoes of your past actions. Your behavior betrays patterns that you may not even realize you're repeating. By observing and remembering these behavioral signatures, he doesn't just react to the present, he predicts the future. His memory isn't about storing the world, it's about decoding the world and everyone in it. That's why no matter how clever someone thinks they are, a Sigma male rarely misses a beat. Number 3, they don't react. They observe your reaction to their reaction. Sigma males have mastered a level of patience and control that makes them almost untouchable in social interactions. When others would instinctively react, defend, argue, or reveal something in response, a Sigma holds back. He doesn't respond immediately or emotionally. Instead, he observes, studying how you react to his calmness, his silence, or even his minimal action. He's not passive because he's timid. He's passive because he knows that your reaction often reveals more than your words ever could. This ability turns interactions into a kind of behavioral mirror. By withholding the obvious response, the Sigma forces the other person to unconsciously reveal their intentions, their insecurities, and their motives. A lie, a manipulation, or a subtle power move becomes easy to detect because people are hardwired to respond to cues, even tiny ones. When a Sigma doesn't bite, doesn't get defensive, and doesn't overcommit emotionally, he creates an environment where the truth naturally surfaces, often without him having to ask a single question. It's almost like he's running a test without the person realizing it. The smallest reactions, a flicker in the eyes, a sudden shift in posture, a word chosen too carefully, become valuable signals. Sigma males process these micro-reactions and store them instantly, analyzing what they indicate about character, honesty, and intent. The beauty of this is that people usually assume they are manipulating him or controlling the situation. But in reality, the opposite is happening. He's quietly controlling the flow of information without ever appearing to do so. This also explains why Sigma males are intimidating without trying. They don't need loud arguments or displays of intelligence to dominate a conversation. Their control comes from observation, patience, and the subtle power of making others reveal themselves. By not reacting, they shift the burden of exposure entirely onto the other person. What they learn in these moments is often enough to predict actions, prevent deception, and understand intentions long before anyone else could. The Sigma's calm is never passive. It's strategic, deliberate, and deeply revealing. Number 4, they detect. When someone is trying too hard to look innocent. Sigma males have a knack for spotting when someone is overcompensating to appear innocent, trustworthy, or harmless. It's a subtle skill, but an incredibly powerful one. People who are genuinely innocent don't need to prove it. They speak and act naturally, without hesitation or forced charm. But the moment someone starts performing innocence, over-explaining, smiling too much, emphasizing honesty, it raises a red flag in a Sigma's mind. He notices the effort, the energy spent, and the tiny cracks in the performance that most people completely miss. This ability comes from years of observing behavior patterns and reading energy. A Sigma doesn't just see what someone is doing, he senses why they are doing it. When someone tries too hard, it signals a hidden agenda. There's a mismatch between the calm, effortless way reality operates and the visible strain in someone's attempt to appear blameless. That strain alone tells a Sigma more than words ever could. He knows that true innocence doesn't need performance. It just exists. Overcompensation can appear in many forms. A defensive tone, exaggerated gestures, constant reassurance, or even a laugh that comes at the wrong moment. To most people, these signs might seem harmless or even charming. To a Sigma male, they are glaring warning signs. He reads between the lines, noticing how the energy behind the words doesn't match the words themselves. Every overdone gesture, every forced smile, becomes evidence that the person is trying to manipulate perception rather than act authentically. What makes this skill so exceptional is that Sigma males don't confront it immediately. They quietly store the information, watch how the pattern develops, and use it strategically. By the time they act, they have a complete understanding of the person's true intentions. This makes them nearly impossible to deceive, because by the time someone realizes the Sigma has seen through the act, it's already too late. Trying too hard to look innocent becomes the very thing that exposes you, and Sigma males always notice first. Number 5, they wait, and that terrifies manipulators. Sigma males have an extraordinary advantage that most people underestimate. They wait. While the world rushes to respond, react, or make a move, the Sigma sits back, calm and unhurried, letting time do the work for him. This patience is not laziness or indecision. It's a strategic choice that turns interactions into a subtle but powerful game. People who try to manipulate, deceive, or control others are often in a hurry. They want immediate results, quick reactions, and fast confirmations. The Sigma doesn't provide any of that. By waiting, he removes the comfort manipulators rely on, forcing their true intentions to reveal themselves. The act of waiting isn't passive observation, it's a tactical pause. When a Sigma doesn't respond right away, it creates tension in the other person. They start to overthink, second guess, or reveal more than they intended. Lies begin to unravel simply because someone had to fill the silence, explain themselves further, or justify a shaky story. The Sigma doesn't need to pressure anyone. The truth emerges naturally under the weight of their own impatience. Time becomes a weapon, and the Sigma wields it silently. This waiting also allows the Sigma male to gather information without exposing his own position. He notices how people behave when they think no one is watching, how their reactions shift under subtle stress, and how patterns emerge over repeated interactions. By staying calm and composed, he creates a mirror where manipulative behavior reflects itself clearly. Others often assume they are in control, but in reality the Sigma is already several steps ahead, quietly collecting evidence and drawing conclusions. What makes this so terrifying for manipulators is the unpredictability combined with precision. They cannot rush him, bait him, or corner him. Every attempt to provoke a reaction only exposes them further. The Sigma's patience is not weakness, it's power. While others act impulsively, he lets people reveal who they truly are. And by the time he decides to respond, the truth has already spoken, the manipulation has failed, and he stands in complete control without ever needing to force the outcome. Number 6, they see the world in truth lines, not storylines. Sigma males don't look at life the way most people do. While everyone else follows the story, the narrative, the plot twists, the surface-level events, the Sigma sees the fractures beneath it. They focus on what is actually real, the unspoken truths that exist regardless of what people say or pretend. They don't get distracted by drama, excuses, or embellished tales. Instead, they trace the truth lines, the invisible threads that reveal how people actually behave, think, and operate. These threads are where honesty lives, and they are impossible to fake for long. Every action, every word, and every choice leaves a subtle trace. Sigma males notice patterns, contradictions, and tiny deviations that signal something deeper. While someone might be spinning a story to impress or manipulate, the truth lines remain consistent. A Sigma male follows these threads, connecting dots that others don't even see exist. They understand motives, weaknesses, and intentions by observing the underlying structure of reality, not the shiny surface of appearances. This perspective gives them a nearly supernatural ability to predict behavior and detect deception. People can lie with words, perform with gestures, or craft elaborate stories to disguise their true selves. But the truth lines can't be edited. They appear in micro-behaviors, in repeated patterns, in moments of unguarded honesty. A Sigma sees the world this way because he values accuracy over perception, results over appearances, and reality over fiction. What makes this skill so extraordinary is that it removes the need for confrontation. A Sigma male doesn't have to challenge lies or call out deceit. He simply tracks the truth lines, watches them converge or diverge, and understands the real story without anyone's permission. This makes him untouchable in social dynamics, negotiations, or manipulations, because no surface-level tactics can obscure the deeper truth he perceives. In the end, while others are busy following stories, the Sigma male is quietly following reality. That focus on truth rather than narrative allows him to navigate life with clarity, control, and foresight. The world may be full of pretenses, but the Sigma knows exactly where the truth runs, and he never loses sight of it. Number 7, they notice what you didn't say. Sigma males have a rare ability to read between the lines in a way that most people simply can't. They aren't just listening to the words, they're absorbing the gaps, the pauses, the things left unsaid. Every omission, hesitation, or intentional silence is a signal to them. Where most people focus on what's being said, Sigma males focus on what isn't being said. That's where the real story lives. The things you leave out, the details you avoid, and the truths you bury reveal more about your intentions, fears, and character than anything you actually admit. It's not about being paranoid or suspicious. It's about understanding human behavior at a deeper level. People try to craft narratives, hide secrets, or manipulate situations with selective truths. But the Sigma sees the holes in those narratives instantly. The questions you dodge, the explanations you avoid, and the convenient gaps in your story all speak volumes. A Sigma male doesn't need confirmation. The absence of information is enough to draw conclusions. He pieces together a mental map of reality using the spaces between your words, and it's often more accurate than any direct statement. This skill also makes him extremely hard to manipulate. While most people can be swayed by confident lies or polished stories, a Sigma male uses omissions as markers. He tracks inconsistencies, notices when someone is deliberately avoiding a topic, and watches how they react when pressured to fill those gaps. In doing so, he uncovers motives and truths that others overlook. What sets this apart is subtlety. Sigma males don't confront people at the first sign of omission. They observe, connect dots, and quietly build a complete picture. By the time they act, they often know the truth long before anyone realizes it's been uncovered. Those who try to deceive them rarely get a second chance because the Sigma has already noticed the things that would have gone undetected by anyone else. Their ability to see what isn't said gives them an almost invisible advantage, allowing them to navigate social dynamics, detect lies, and understand intentions with precision few can match. Number 8, they notice the delay between words, not the words themselves. Sigma males have a remarkable skill that most people don't even realize exists. They pay attention to the tiny, almost imperceptible delays between words. It's not what you say that gives you away. It's the fraction of a second your brain hesitates before speaking, the subtle pause that signals doubt, hesitation, or dishonesty. To the average person, a brief delay goes unnoticed. To a Sigma male, it's a neon sign flashing the truth. That split-second lag can reveal uncertainty, concealment, or even an attempt to fabricate reality, and he catches it every single time. This ability comes from years of observing human behavior and understanding how the mind works. When someone lies or hides something, their thought process momentarily stalls. The words they speak must be constructed, adjusted, and filtered, and that process leaves a subtle timing imprint. Sigma males are tuned into this. They don't need to interrogate or ask pointed questions. The hesitation itself is enough to trigger curiosity and further analysis. They notice patterns in how people speak, the rhythm of their sentences, and the natural flow of conversation. When something disrupts that rhythm, it stands out instantly. It's not just about detecting lies. It's about reading intention and confidence. Someone who speaks without hesitation is usually aligned with their truth. Someone who falters, repeats themselves unnecessarily, or stumbles over phrasing is signaling something deeper. The Sigma male can dissect this in real time, building a mental profile of what the person is thinking, what they might be hiding, and how reliable their words actually are. What makes this exceptional is the subtlety of it. No one sees it coming because it doesn't rely on grand gestures, dramatic confrontations, or overanalyzing every word. It's a quiet, surgical form of perception. By the time most people even realize there's a problem, the Sigma male has already processed the hesitation, connected it to other cues, and knows more about the situation than anyone else in the room. This skill turns conversation into a live map of truth and deception, and it's one of the many reasons why Sigma males are nearly impossible to fool. Number 9, they understand people through their pattern of predictability. Sigma males don't just observe what people do, they study how people act over time. They notice patterns in behavior that most people miss because they're focused on single events or dramatic moments. For a Sigma male, nothing happens in isolation. Every action, reaction, and decision is part of a larger sequence that reveals a person's true tendencies. By tracking these patterns, he can predict what someone will do next, often before they even realize it themselves. This ability makes deception, manipulation, or surprise nearly impossible. Patterns are more than repetition. They are the blueprint of human behavior. A Sigma male sees how someone responds under pressure, how they react to praise or criticism, how they handle success or failure. He notes the small, seemingly insignificant actions, the way someone tilts their head when they lie, how they pause before speaking, the micro decisions they make when they think no one is watching. These repeated behaviors create a predictable framework. Once the Sigma understands it, he can anticipate choices, spot inconsistencies, and recognize when someone is acting out of alignment with their usual self. This skill isn't about judgment or control, it's about insight. A Sigma male doesn't need to interrogate or force information out of someone because he already has a mental map built from patterns. When someone tries to lie or manipulate, the effort to break free from their natural patterns stands out immediately. The subtle shifts in behavior, the overcompensation, the forced gestures, all of it is glaring to him because it doesn't match the established rhythm. What makes this ability exceptional is that it combines observation, logic, and memory into a seamless understanding of human nature. Sigma males don't just react to people. They predict, interpret, and strategize based on what they know someone is likely to do. This predictive insight allows them to navigate social interactions with unmatched clarity and precision. While others are blindsided by deceit or surprises, the Sigma male has already read the patterns, anticipated the moves, and positioned himself perfectly. This makes him almost impossible to fool because he isn't responding to behavior in the moment. He's responding to the truth that behavior has already revealed. Number 10, they recognize. When someone's tone doesn't match the narrative. Sigma males have an extraordinary ability to pick up on subtle mismatches between what someone is saying and how they're saying it. Most people only hear words and assume they tell the full story, but Sigma males know that the tone, cadence, and energy behind those words reveal far more than the words themselves. A person might claim to be calm, confident, or honest, but if the tone doesn't match that claim, the Sigma notices immediately. That inconsistency is like a signal flare. Something is off, and he knows it before anyone else even questions it. Tone is a form of honesty that is nearly impossible to fake consistently. A person can memorize lines, craft perfect statements, or spin stories convincingly, but the underlying tone is much harder to control. Subtle shifts in pitch, hesitation in delivery, forced cheerfulness, or even a misplaced inflection all stand out to the Sigma male. These micro-signals tell him when someone is nervous, defensive, insincere, or hiding something. While everyone else might accept the story at face value, the Sigma reads the story beneath the story. This skill also allows him to see motives and emotions that people are trying to mask. A person might claim to be indifferent, but their tone reveals impatience or frustration. Someone might insist they're unaffected by a situation, but the slight tightness in their voice betrays fear or insecurity. Sigma males pick up on these inconsistencies effortlessly, analyzing them in real time to understand what's truly happening behind the facade. What makes this ability so powerful is that it gives him control without confrontation. He doesn't need to accuse, argue, or question aggressively. By recognizing when tone doesn't match words, he already knows the underlying truth and can respond strategically. People trying to manipulate him often don't realize that the clues were in their own voice all along. Sigma males operate on a level where energy, intention, and authenticity matter far more than words. That's why attempts to deceive or impress rarely work. The tone exposes everything, and the Sigma male sees it clearly, silently, and without needing anyone to admit it. Number 11, they sense. When someone's confidence is borrowed. Sigma males have a rare and almost surgical ability to detect borrowed confidence, the kind of self-assurance people put on like a costume to impress, intimidate, or manipulate. Most people think confidence is just about speaking boldly or carrying yourself well, but Sigma males know it's deeper than that. True confidence comes from alignment with your own abilities, beliefs, and intentions. Borrowed confidence, on the other hand, is fake, fragile, and painfully obvious to someone who knows how to look beneath the surface. When someone is speaking or acting from borrowed confidence, it shows in subtle ways. Their gestures may be exaggerated, their tones slightly overcompensating, or their words just a little too rehearsed. Sigma males notice these discrepancies immediately. The energy behind the person's actions doesn't match the claims they're making. It's like trying to play a character in a play when the audience is already watching the real person behind the mask. A Sigma doesn't need explicit evidence. He feels the imbalance. This ability gives Sigma males an immense advantage in reading people. They can tell when someone is bluffing in negotiations, posturing in social situations, or trying to manipulate emotions to gain leverage. Borrowed confidence is a temporary shield, but Sigma males see through it instantly. They understand that when someone leans on borrowed confidence, it's a sign of insecurity, fear, or hidden agenda, and that knowledge alone changes how they interact with that person. What makes this so powerful is that Sigma males don't confront the fake confidence directly. They observe, note the inconsistencies, and use that insight strategically. They don't need to call someone out. The borrowed nature of the confidence often collapses on its own under subtle pressure or scrutiny. This makes Sigma males almost untouchable in social dynamics. While others might be impressed or intimidated by a confident front, the Sigma sees the truth immediately. He doesn't just see the surface, he senses the source. And that's why no matter how hard someone tries to project power or certainty, Sigma males are never fooled. They operate on a level where authenticity is the only thing that matters, and borrowed confidence is a dead giveaway. Number 12. Their intuition is actually an accumulation of microintelligence. Sigma males are often described as intuitive, but their intuition isn't some mysterious magical ability. It's the result of thousands of subtle observations stacked together over time. Every small detail they notice, every tiny inconsistency, every micro-expression, hesitation, or unusual behavior is stored and analyzed. To the outside world, it may look like a gut feeling, but in reality, it's a highly refined system of micro-intelligence that lets them understand people and situations with startling accuracy. Unlike most people who forget the little things or dismiss them as irrelevant, Sigma males pay attention to patterns. They notice how someone moves, the way their voice changes under stress, the unspoken dynamics between people, and even what isn't said. Each of these small data points is processed and stored, building a mental map of truth and deception. Over time, these accumulated observations create a predictive sense that feels instinctual, but is rooted in careful, consistent analysis. This is why Sigma males rarely get caught off guard. They don't just react, they anticipate. Someone may try to deceive, manipulate, or mislead, but the Sigma has already observed the subtle clues that expose the truth. Their intuition allows them to make decisions or draw conclusions in seconds that would take others hours of thought, and often those conclusions are far more accurate. What makes this ability so extraordinary is its invisible nature. People rarely notice the depth of thought happening behind the Sigma's calm exterior. They assume he's just lucky, clever, or naturally perceptive, but the reality is far more impressive. Every gut feeling, every unspoken insight is built on a foundation of microintelligence that most people don't even realize exists. Sigma males don't rely on guesswork or superstition. Their intuition is a silent, precise mechanism that turns observation into understanding, and understanding into action. It's what allows them to navigate complex social situations, detect dishonesty, and anticipate behavior with almost supernatural accuracy. In the end, their intuition isn't instinct, It's mastery built from attention, analysis, and relentless observation. The truth is simple. Sigma males operate on a level most people will never understand. They don't just observe. They dissect, analyze, and anticipate. Every word, gesture, pause, and pattern is logged in their silent database, giving them a clarity and insight that borders on preternatural. Lies, manipulation, and pretenses crumble effortlessly in their presence because they don't react the way others do. They see the truth lines beneath the story, the silence people fear, and the inconsistencies people think they're hiding. They don't need confrontation, intimidation, or force. Their calm, calculated presence exposes reality on its own. What makes them truly extraordinary is not that they are smarter or stronger, it's that they operate differently. They read human behavior like a master code breaker, anticipate moves like a strategist, and detect hidden intentions without anyone noticing. To fool a Sigma male is not just difficult, it's almost impossible. Their world is ruled by observation, intuition built on micro-intelligence, and a patient understanding of human nature that allows them to stay 3 steps ahead at all times. While the average person rushes, reacts, and guesses, the Sigma male waits, watches, and knows. This isn't about arrogance or superiority. It's about mastery over perception and reality. A Sigma male's awareness is quiet, but devastatingly effective. People can try to deceive him, manipulate him, or test him, but the truth is already in his grasp before they even attempt it. And that is the reason why Sigma males are a force few understand, a presence few can challenge, and a mind few can outsmart. If you've been fascinated by how Sigma males see the world differently, how they navigate life with unmatched clarity, and why no one can fool them, then make sure you don't miss out on more insights like this. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, drop a comment sharing your thoughts, and share this with anyone who needs to understand the Sigma mind. Stay alert, stay aware, and always remember, some minds see far deeper than words alone could ever reveal.